Hello, this is Mr. Anderson Reviews Transformers Last Night. I am Mr. Anderson, the voice of Written Sins. Today we're going to be reviewing The Last Night, the newest film out in the Transformers franchise. It's I believe we're on the 5th film already, if I'm not mistaken. This is film number 5. So this is a new direction that the film is taking. I'm not going to give any spoilers. We're just going to go over the basics. So the one thing I will say is that the trailer has not shown a lot of the characters that are actually in the film, which is awesome. There were a lot of surprises, so I'm not going to be mentioning much in the way of details. This is going to be very vague on purpose. But I do want to address, before we go any further, I've been a lifelong Transformer fan. I've been watching Transformers since I was a kid and it first came out. When it first came out, I fell in love with it. I've always been a fan of it. Grimlock, the VHS, is one of my prized possessions. It was the first VHS I ever got in my life. It still sits on my bookshelf. I can see it from where I'm sitting right now, filming this video. So Transformers is a huge deal to me. I'm actually debating where to get a Grimlock tattoo. I think I want to get it on my leg because Grimlock says kick butt, and I think that's funny to get it on your leg. I might put it on a thigh like a sexy girl and pretend I'm a sexy girl for a few minutes and have it there, but that's how big of a deal it is that I want to get a tattoo. Now, with that said, for anyone who's an adult now who's gone back and watched the original 1980s cartoon series, you notice how many flaws there are in it. There are a lot of holes in it. I know, and I've read the Marvel comics, and I know how powerful the Marvel comics are. Credit to all the cartoons that have come from it, the comics that have come from it. There's some powerful stuff, including Rescue Bots, which is, it is just for children, is very good. I actually like Rescue Bots. With all the 80 animated movie will still be the best. I agree, Floyd. Oh my God. My son is obsessed with that lately, and I've gotten to watch it. It was really good. It really did. Like, you could see that the original season 1, They made a lot of mistakes, and you could make a drinking game out of it. But by that movie, they started taking themselves seriously. And you can almost see that, like when it first started, this was the first time a kids' television show kind of really dealt with harder, like more complicated issues after the movie and after season 2. But then suddenly they lost their way, and you could see there was a panic. And you can read about it online that they were forced to produce just an ungodly amount of episodes again for season 2. They didn't get the promises they do, and it wound up hurting the product, something that never happened again in the later things. But the reason I'm bringing this up, and as much as I love Transformers, this is a Michael Bay film. Now, you either love or hate Michael Bay. And Michael Bay is a director who's very good at making a popcorn movie. He is good at making a movie that is entertaining. He is not very good with very powerful story-driven movies. You have to understand that when you're going to a Michael Bay film. With that said, I'm going to say it right now. Just be prepared for it. There are so many potholes in the movie, plot holes that are like potholes in New York City's roads, that you're going to be constantly like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. That is going to happen in this film. However, despite that happening in this film, not for 1 second does it stop being entertaining, honestly. It is a Michael Bay film, and Michael Bay is great at giving you something that's going to be worth your money and entertaining. There are problems I had with it, and I can't tell you the problems because it would be a spoiler, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But yeah, I had problems with it. My first impression of this one the last night was, again, later, when you guys want to talk about this, and maybe in a few weeks or a few months, we can talk about it. But the title itself got me really excited. And the last night, I thought they were going to have a lot to do with the Knights. If you remember in the first movie, he's on the ship with the Knights that have been collected by bounty. So it's an interesting concept. And it's, you know, I was very excited, of course, that Transformers was continuing on. I would have rather Michael Bay not come back. Personally, not that I have a hate for Michael Bay. I just would have liked to see a new director take this on. That was just how I felt, but I was still excited to do it. Now, as far as the movie went from go, I was entertained. I did mention the plot holes. I did feel like they picked it up in an awkward spot and didn't give it a great intro to where we were. but they delivered a solid story. Like, I never found myself bored. As a matter of fact, I was on the edge of my seat deciding, do I have to go to the bathroom or not? And I had to run out. And I was with my son, who fell asleep. So he liked it, got really excited, got too excited at one point, and started making noise. I had to actually walk out. Bumblebee was fighting, and he got really, really excited. And it was like nap time around there. We did it on purpose so he could go to sleep during the film, so we could enjoy it as parents too. And we'll let him. I'll take him again, just me and him. But I was with my wife, and my wife liked it. Just she actually did enjoy it. So very entertaining. It kept me engaged. It did want me leaving a continued story. There are definitely at least three threads that they could pull on to make another movie. I don't know if this is a spoiler. It shouldn't be a spoiler, but everyone should know at this point there is supposed to be a Bumblebee film coming out, and they did address some of where that could go, and it was kind of interesting. I don't know if I liked it, but it was interesting, and I'm willing to give it a try, the way that they've talked about Bumblebee in this film. So I am interested. I am engaged. So I do want to see what's next. Were the characters relatable? Listen, Mark Wahlberg, you either like him or you hate him. I personally like Mark Wahlberg. I don't have a problem with him, but some people don't like him. And the problem with Mark Wahlberg is he's one of those actors who's always Mark Wahlberg. He doesn't change who he is when he acts. He is the same dude no matter where you put him. He's the same guy in Ted. He could literally be that linchpin character who is the same character in every single movie. And it'd just be funny that this guy has just this amazing life, because he really does not change who he is ever. He is always Mark Wahlberg. So you're either going to like him or you're going to hate him. The new edition of the 14-year-old girl, I don't know the actress's name, and you've seen her in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. I thought she was really good. I thought she was fantastic. There are other characters that are shown that, once again, I'm not going to say who they are because they haven't shown them in any trailers that I've seen, and I did avoid some trailers, but I mean, there's a great supporting cast. I was very pleased by the acting from the human end. I did think that, as always, and this is going to be a complaint you're going to hear from every Transformer fan, there was too much human, not enough Transformers, and I'm sure that has to do with the amount of budgets and all that. But with that said, this is the most Transformers I've ever seen in a movie yet. This is very Transformer heavy. I would have just liked a little bit more. It wasn't horrible like in some of the other ones. I remember in the second one, it was horrible. The last one wasn't so bad. Wasn't horrible, but the second one was bad. There wasn't enough Transformers at all. So what were all my overall thoughts about the movie? Look, I went into it knowing it was Michael Bay. And I think if you go into it knowing it's Michael Bay and you're not looking for Oscar-worthy, you're not looking for the next absolutely mind-blowing film. This isn't Transformers Inception. If you go into it to be entertained and as a fan, see these characters become larger than life, it's going to be fantastic. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, the people behind this have not read Transformers, have not been fans of Transformers with the certain things that they do with certain characters, the way they've made changes and all that. So you could become very bothered by it, or you could choose just to enjoy it and understand this is a different telling. And I tell everyone that, when you go into something like this, don't go in as the hard ass looking to not enjoy it, and because if you do that, you're just going to ruin your time. Go into this movie open-minded and just be like, this is Michael Bay's Transformers world. Remember, this is the guy who wanted to make the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle aliens. So it's going to be a little different. Sometimes different is good. This is a different take on it. Remember, we have the new card. You have Robots in Disguise going on right now. They have that other Transformers one on that app, and I can't think of the app's name off the top of my head. They have what they're doing in IDW. There's just so much great Transformers content right now. Don't get bogged down on trying to make it feel like this has to be pure Transformers and it has to stick by some sort of rule books. Remember, right now there is no real rule book because there's so many different alternative worlds. One of my favorite ones, alternative world speaking, was Beast Wars. I'd love to see that become a movie. But with that said, you have to take into consideration that this is Michael Bay's telling of Transformers. And the reason I'm harping on this idea is because as a fan, I could sit down and talk to any other fan probably for 3-4 hours without a problem picking apart things that we feel weren't handled the way they should have been handled. I can do that. And you could rip the film apart, but that's not to say that the film wasn't good. And I don't want people to, it's kind of like my warning, hey guys, it's a good film, just don't go into it expecting to see something that you want to as a fan see come to the screen. It hasn't gotten there yet. It is still disappointing in the way that we haven't seen it. I mean, see, I don't want to give away a spoiler, but there were things in it, and you guys can actually, okay, is that really Optimus or is it an evil version? Floyd, okay, Floyd, I'm going to answer that as something that only fans might know. Think about Nemesis, Floyd. And I'll leave it at that. That's it. That's as close as I'm going to come. Just think about Nemesis. You're either going to get that reference or you're not. But I'm not going to go any further than that. But I will say this. Is that really Optimus Prime in the movie and in the trailers? It is, in fact, Optimus Prime. I don't think that's a spoiler. Everyone knows that's Optimus Prime. There's no cheap trick. That is actually Optimus Prime kicking Bumblebee's ass. So that's not a spoiler. It's been in the trailer. So the why would be a spoiler, so I'm not going to go into it. Look, I mean, honestly, guys, this is a great movie if you let it be a great movie. Because I do recommend this to everyone. I was actually very pleased with it, and I had fun with it. Floyd knows Nemesis, so he knows what I'm talking about. He didn't like Beast Wars though, till he found out that they were ancestors of the originals, and Megatron was the original Megatron. Yeah, that was kind of cool, right? The way that Megatron had been the Megatron for that whole time, but Optimus somehow was no longer Optimus, which I thought was weird. But I love how they brought back Starscream and Beast Wars. And Beast Wars is a cartoon, so this has been out for a while. So if this is a spoiler for you talking about Beast Wars, you guys just need to go get Netflix or something and watch. I mean, it's on Amazon for $20. Great freaking series. But yeah, I mean, it broke my heart what they did to Rhino between Beast Wars and Beast Machines. I thought that was the most powerful Transformers ever. And I did like that there was that symbiotic relationship between the original and then them, even to the point where Optimus Primal takes Optimus Prime's spark out to use it because Optimus Prime is damaged, and to keep the spark from dying, they have to do it while they repair Optimus Prime. It was a great freaking show. And I want to see that be made a movie, and not with Michael Bay. Look, Michael Bay has owned this, and yeah, you have to give credit to Michael Bay. Michael Bay has made something. He has made Transformers just a global phenomenon. I am afraid that in the next movie we'll see The Rock show up. I mean, I'm not afraid. I actually like to see The Rock show up. I would rather The Rock give his voice like he did in the cartoon. For those who don't know, in the first episode of Robots in Disguise, The Rock played Cliff Jumper. And he played it for 15 minutes, and unfortunately he was then killed. But comes back, but when he comes back, we never hear his voice again as The Rock. So, cartoons are great. This is a different version. This is movies. It looks fantastic. Don't get held up on the plot holes, because there are going to be some plot holes. But if you just go into it, I mean, by far, first off, I will give it credit, is the most entertaining Transformers film ever. Anthony Hopkins, who many of you know, this isn't a spoiler, is in the movie, is fantastic. One of his best performances ever. I didn't know he could be so funny. I thought he was amazing. So I only saw the first two, so you say they're worth watching. If we're talking about the movies, if you want to know the movies to watch, I'm talking 1, 2, 1 really. 1 was good. The last one, Age of Extinction, and this one. The 3 and 4 you could really forget about. But if we're talking about cartoons, Beast Wars, all the seasons were fantastic. Beast Machines was very dark and very different. And it was actually ahead of its time. It was kind of like Gargoyles was ahead of its time for Disney. I recommend them. Yes, absolutely. I would even recommend watching every Transformer film. I just put this up here on the video for those watching because this is actually in Russia. I thought that was so cool that Russia's got Transformers now. When I was growing up, the USSR was a thing, and I always was surprised they never tried to make a Russian bad guy. Transformers with the way that they were pushing things. Oh, the movies, yeah. The Age of Extinction was by far the best one for me. But that introduced the Dinobots, and it was also a weird time in my life. I literally watched Age of Extinction 2 days before I had major dual fusion spinal back surgery. So it was a big moment for me, and I even have, I don't have them in front of me, I have this little Grimlock I have from the movies, little plush Grimlock, and I travel around with them. He actually goes to every con. I should start taking pictures of him at the cons when I'm at the cons again. I was doing that for a while. I thought it was funny. I'll start doing that again because the movie came out. But I mean, the one thing I will say is that people have seen this, and this is not a spoiler. The baby Dinobots are freaking adorable. Oh my God. If you haven't seen it yet, it's in a trailer and it's been online, so it's not a spoiler. I'm sorry you didn't know about it, but it's something to look forward to. They're a baby Grimlock. Not baby Grimlock. It's not Grimlock. It has a different name, which I think it's T. Yeah, they call him T. There's a baby like Grimlock. Looks like Grimlock, but it's not Grimlock. It's a different Dinobot entirely. His name is T. I mean, look, guys, this was a great movie. It really was. I really do recommend it. If you're a Transformer fan, I promise you it'll be entertaining. Just let the small stuff go and understand that, you know, this is just a different movie and telling. And if you hate Mark Wahlberg, just go see it anyway and hope that he gets smashed. That's what one of my friends says. He's like, I hate Mark Wahlberg, but I'm going to go watch the movie and hope he gets hit by a Transformer's foot. You know, find a way to enjoy your life. This is not a bad movie. I know I haven't seen much reviews of it because I know it came out on Wednesday. I actually got to see it on Wednesday, which I thought was cool. I haven't gotten a review of it because my back had been hurting for a couple days. You guys know when my back hurts, it's actually pretty hard to do certain things. So I try not to do videos. When I did Kickstarter talk, I sounded horrible. I was very embarrassed by it, that I was in so much pain and you could hear it, and I didn't like that. And I don't like doing things when I'm in that much pain. But I mean, this was great. I really wanted to talk about it. It was fantastic. And it sets up a giant next movie. And for those who want to actually have a discussion about this, let me know. Drop me a line on my Facebook page. And maybe, let's say in about a month, we can actually do a whole video about it where we all can get together and talk about it if you guys want to do that. I really wish that was in the movie, but that's actually not. That's just fan art right there. That did not make the movie. But, I mean, it really was good. So that's my review. I'm going to give it Mr. Andersin approved. I was entertained as hell. I thought it was the best one. The one thing I will say is the writing was a lot better. It was a lot stronger. It was a lot wittier. It was a lot more entertaining. So something about the writing had changed. I don't know what it was. I could speculate that I think Michael Bay was given a stronger writing team to kind of compensate for his ADHD with the way he treats the property and the way he doesn't pay attention to plot holes. They did their best to cover up a lot of them, but there are still there's some big gaping holes that you guys will notice. But they're not enough to ruin the film. They're just more things that you'll just shake your head and be like, really? And that's a Michael Bay film. You're going to have the really moments because he's all about the show. He's about the sizzle, not the steak. He wants you to hear the sizzle. He wants you to see the sizzle. He doesn't really care if you like the taste of the steak. Let's just be honest. But he is a great filmmaker. He gets paid a lot of money to do what he does, and he delivered. He delivered a very entertaining film. So stop watching this and go out and watch it yourself. You guys have been great. Thank you as always for tuning in. I will see you at the next review, which should be Spider-Man. I think we're at Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man's the next big one. So I guess I'll see you at the Spider-Man review. Because that one I'm definitely taking Jax to see because he gets all excited when he sees it. All right, YouTube. You guys have been great. I'll talk to you later.